If you've noticed a strange pattern on the news lately, you're not imagining things. Americans are packing up and leaving some states in droves. Millions are on the move, and the reasons are as varied as they are alarming. Skyrocketing taxes, crumbling infrastructure, dwindling job opportunities, and extreme weather events are just the tip of the iceberg. The US isn't just moving west or south randomly. There's a method to this migration madness, and it's rewriting the map of opportunity. Consider this. In states like West Virginia and Illinois, population declines have accelerated over the last decade, while neighboring states report booming growth. But what's driving this mass exodus? Some residents cite economic stagnation, others blame unbearable property taxes, and a few admit to just wanting a better quality of life, somewhere they don't feel trapped in a financial chokehold. This is not just about numbers. Behind every statistic is a family making a hard choice, leaving the only home they've ever known because staying feels unsustainable. Picture retirees leaving New Jersey to escape crushing property taxes, or young professionals fleeing California because rent for a studio apartment could buy a small house elsewhere. And yes, there's a certain paradox at play. These states offer natural beauty, cultural richness, and history, yet so many are abandoning them. Throughout this countdown, we're breaking down the 10 states hemorrhaging residents the fastest. From economic crises to social challenges, each state on this list has a compelling story of why people are fleeing. Some are obvious, others downright shocking. By the end, you'll see patterns emerge, understand the pressures driving Americans away, and maybe even question if your own state is next. Buckle up. The story behind these mass migrations is messy, dramatic, and in some cases, downright brutal. Number 10, New Jersey, a state known for its picturesque shorelines and proximity to New York City, but also infamous for crushing property taxes and sky-high living costs. It's not just an inconvenience. For many, it's a financial trap. Families are discovering that what used to be a modest suburban dream is now a monthly stress test on their bank accounts. Median property taxes here exceed $8,000 a year, and when combined with cost of living expenses, retirees and young families alike find themselves looking for greener pastures. But here's the twist. New Jersey is still loaded with charm. Quaint towns, historic neighborhoods, and some of the country's best public schools are all here. The catch is that these perks come at a price many can't justify anymore. A Reddit user put it bluntly, "Beautiful place, but the state feels like it's charging me for breathing." People aren't leaving the beauty, they're fleeing the bills. Migration data paints a clear picture. Census numbers show a net loss of residents to Florida, Pennsylvania, and even the Carolinas. Retirees are especially drawn to warmer climates with no state income tax, like Florida, where Social Security stretches further. Meanwhile, younger workers are drawn to states with more affordable housing markets and lower overall taxation. Picture this: rows of charming brownstones shadowed by towering tax notices, or a peaceful suburb where families are packing up, hitting the highways, and exchanging familiar streets for a life that doesn't break the bank. The irony is palpable. People are abandoning some of the nation's most beloved towns, not for lack of beauty, but for financial survival. Number 9 is Illinois, a state that combines deep history and vibrant city life with a financial quagmire that's pushing residents away. Chicago often steals the headlines, and for good reason. The city boasts a thriving culture, world-class dining, and architecture that turns heads. But the darker side lurks beneath. Illinois is struggling under massive pension liabilities, some of the highest property taxes in the nation, and state income taxes that gnaw at earnings. Here's the catch. Even outside Chicago, suburban and rural areas are feeling the squeeze. Median property taxes hover around $4,000 or $5,000 a year, which, when combined with high utility and grocery costs, forces families to make tough choices. Young professionals are leaving for Texas and Arizona. Retirees are seeking states where their social security stretches further, and companies are reconsidering headquarters in high-tax environments. A Redditor summed it up perfectly. Love Illinois, hate what it does to my wallet every month. Migration patterns show a steady exodus. Between 2010 and 2020, Illinois lost nearly 200,000 residents to other states, according to census estimates. The trend isn't slowing. People are choosing affordability over familiarity, leaving behind the charms of small-town festivals, Midwestern landscapes, and Lake Michigan sunsets. Picture this: a quaint small town with historic brick streets and cozy diners, but every mailbox is shadowed by a tax bill that feels bigger than than the house itself. The state's beauty and opportunity are undeniable, yet the financial pressure acts like a silent force, nudging people out the door, often to sun-drenched or low-tax alternatives. Illinois might have everything else, but for many it's no longer financially feasible to stay. Number 8 is New York, a state of stark contrasts. From Manhattan's glittering skyline to the quiet upstate valleys, the Empire State has long been a symbol of opportunity, but the financial reality is harsh. Sky-high taxes, exorbitant housing costs, and a high cost of living are driving residents to look elsewhere. Even outside the city, property taxes are notoriously steep. Some towns see yearly bills exceeding $10,000 for average homes. Here's the catch: New York offers unmatched amenities, culture, healthcare, and education, but these come at a cost that many simply can't sustain. Combined with state income tax rates that climb past 8%, residents are forced to make tough decisions. Young families and retirees alike are moving to states like Florida and North Carolina, where housing costs and taxes are significantly lower. A Reddit user captured the sentiment perfectly. "I love my hometown, but my paycheck disappears before I can even enjoy it." Population data tells the story. In the past decade, New York lost hundreds of thousands of residents to domestic migration. Suburban flight is pronounced, with people choosing affordability over the prestige of a New York address. Even cities like Buffalo and Rochester, once thriving industrial hubs, face shrinking populations due to these pressures. Picture this: a charming upstate town with tree-lined streets and historic homes, but each property comes with a tax burden that feels heavier than its roof. The state's beauty, culture, and healthcare options are undeniable, yet the financial weight nudges residents towards sunnier skies and friendlier tax climates. New York remains iconic, but for many, the cost of staying is simply too high. Number 7 brings us to Illinois, a state with breathtaking landscapes along the Mississippi and Lake Michigan, world-class cultural hubs like Chicago, and strong universities, but also a fiscal reality that's sending residents packing. Illinois has been grappling with one of the nation's largest unfunded pension liabilities, and property taxes average around 2.3%, among the highest in the country. Combine that with high sales taxes and rising utility costs, and it's easy to see why residents are rethinking their futures. The catch: Illinois has an alluring mix of urban and rural lifestyles. Chicago offers career opportunities, museums, and entertainment, while downstate towns provide a slower, quieter pace. But for retirees or those on fixed incomes, the financial strain outweighs the perks. One Redditor put it bluntly: "Love the pizza, love the city, hate the bills. My wallet has officially waved goodbye." Migration statistics underline this exodus. Between 2015 and 2023, Illinois lost over 300,000 residents to states like Texas, Florida, and Arizona, where property taxes and living costs are lower. The trend is particularly pronounced among retirees seeking a climate with no state income tax or more predictable utility costs. Many are choosing to relocate before the pension crises intensify, or healthcare becomes prohibitively expensive. Picture this: you wake up in a charming Illinois small town, the air crisp with the scent of autumn leaves, Main Street lined with cafes and boutiques. But every glance at a property tax statement sends a shiver down your spine. People are quietly leaving, not because they hate the scenery, but because financial survival has become a full-time job. The charm remains, but the cost is just too steep to ignore. Number 6 shines a spotlight on New York, a state known for its skyscrapers, Broadway lights, and breathtaking upstate scenery, but also for a migration trend that's quietly reshaping its demographics. While the city dazzles with opportunity, high property taxes, skyrocketing rent, and a high cost of living are prompting families and retirees alike to seek more affordable pastures elsewhere. The catch? The state offers cultural richness, world-class education, and robust healthcare systems, but all at a steep price. Upstate New York has charm, lakes, and quiet towns, yet property taxes can exceed 2.5%, and winter utilities can be brutally expensive. Even small communities struggle under these costs, prompting an exodus that's not just about opportunity, it's about survival. A local Redditor commented, "We love our lake view, but my monthly bills make me question if it's worth it. Folks are leaving faster than the snow melts." Data confirms the trend. New York has experienced one of the highest net domestic outflows in the US, with residents moving to states like Florida, North Carolina, and Texas, drawn by lower taxes and cheaper housing. Many retirees are opting for the Sunshine State, while younger families head to the South or West for better affordability and a slower pace of life. Picture this: a quaint upstate town, autumn leaves crunching underfoot, coffee shops lining the main street, and neighbors waving from porches. But your mailbox arrives with property tax notices that sting with every glance. People cherish the beauty and history, yet the financial reality nudges them to pack and move. New York's magic is undeniable, but for many, it's just too costly to hold on to. Number 5 focuses on Illinois, a state with a rich industrial history, fertile farmland, and Chicago's undeniable draw. Yet beneath the surface, Illinois is bleeding residents. Skyrocketing property taxes, budgetary instability, and a challenging business climate are pushing families and retirees alike to seek stability elsewhere. The appeal of Illinois is obvious: world-class museums, a vibrant cultural scene, and Lake Michigan's shorelines. However, the catch is brutal. Residents face one of the highest property tax burdens in the nation, averaging 2.3% statewide, and the state's pension crisis creates uncertainty that affects public services and community stability. High taxes mean retirees living solely on Social Security or fixed incomes are especially vulnerable, prompting them to consider moving to neighboring states like Indiana or Missouri, where the tax bite is softer. A Redditor summed it up bluntly: Illinois has beauty and jobs, sure, but between taxes and the endless political drama, we decided our family had to go. Migration statistics echo this sentiment. Illinois ranks among the top states for net domestic outflow, with Chicago area exoduses amplified by the city's high cost of living. Picture this: Midwestern neighborhoods with tree-lined streets and classic brick homes, children walking to school, yet every month's property tax bill arrives like a harsh winter wind. People love their communities, but the financial pressure is relentless. Those who can leave do, quietly, steadily, and in growing numbers, reshaping Illinois' demographic landscape. Number 4 is New York, a state synonymous with opportunity, culture, and global influence. From the skyscrapers of Manhattan to the scenic Finger Lakes, New York has it all. But here's the twist: residents are fleeing at unprecedented rates, largely due to crushing taxes, skyrocketing housing costs, and high living expenses. The median property tax in New York is over $8,000 per year, one of the highest in the country, and combined with steep income and sales taxes, it creates a financial squeeze for middle-class families and retirees. Cities like New York City and Buffalo boast vibrant culture and amenities, but living costs often outweigh the benefits. Many young professionals and retirees alike are choosing states with lower taxes and more affordable housing, such as Florida, Texas, or North Carolina. A Reddit user put it perfectly: I love New York, but my paycheck disappears before I can even enjoy it. The sentiment is widespread. Net migration reports show that for every new arrival to New York, several residents leave for greener and cheaper pastures. Picture this: a charming upstate town with historic architecture, farmers markets, and fall foliage that looks straight out of a postcard. Yet the joy of living is tempered by the knowledge that a sizable chunk of your income vanishes to taxes and basic expenses. Families dream of more financial breathing room, while retirees seek safe havens where Social Security stretches further. The beauty is there, but the financial pressure is relentless, pushing many to pack up and quietly depart. Number 3 is California, the golden state that has long been a magnet for dreamers, techies, and sun seekers. The allure is undeniable: beaches, mountains, world-class cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles, and booming job markets. But here's the catch: the cost of living has skyrocketed, making it one of the top states people are fleeing. Housing prices are a headline story on their own. Median home values hover around $850,000, with monthly rents averaging over $2,500. Couple that with high state income taxes, up to 13.3%, and steep gas prices, and many residents find themselves financially stretched. Even middle-class families struggle to afford basic living expenses, prompting a migration to lower-cost states like Texas, Nevada, and Arizona. A Redditor summarized it bluntly: California is amazing if you can afford to live here without working 60 hours a week. The sentiment resonates with thousands, particularly those nearing retirement or young families who see the state as increasingly seemingly unattainable. Picture this: the Pacific coastline at sunset, palm trees swaying, the smell of the ocean mixing with morning coffee from a nearby cafe. Yet for many, the magic is dulled by the stress of managing finances, long commutes, and crowded public spaces. Residents dream of maintaining a California lifestyle elsewhere, where wages go further, taxes are lighter, and life feels a bit more manageable. The beauty is there, but for many, the balance has tipped toward departure. Number 2 is Illinois, a state of contrast that mixes bustling Chicago suburbs with quiet small towns. On paper, it offers a strong job market, world-class universities, and rich cultural heritage. But dig a little deeper, and the reasons people are leaving become painfully clear. Illinois carries one of the highest property tax burdens in the country, with effective rates often surpassing 2% of a home's value. Combine this with state income taxes near 4.95% and significant pension liabilities straining public budgets, and residents are feeling the pinch. Utilities, gas, and everyday expenses all rank above the national average, creating financial pressure that pushes families to neighboring states like Indiana or Missouri. A Redditor captured the sentiment perfectly. You can have Chicago culture, but someone else is paying for it, and it's probably you. This mix of high costs and bureaucratic complexity has led to a steady outflow of residents seeking a more predictable, affordable life elsewhere. Picture this: you're sipping coffee in a small Illinois town, the autumn leaves blazing orange and gold, the air crisp and refreshing. But just beyond the charm, bills pile up, schools struggle with funding, and the lure of a lower tax, more manageable lifestyle calls. For many, the balance between cultural perks and financial strain has tipped. They're packing boxes and looking west or south for relief. Illinois' beauty remains undeniable, but the weight of taxes and expenses is driving a quiet exodus that's hard to ignore. Number 1 is New York, a state where ambition and opportunity meet high costs and regulatory weight. New York City dazzles with finance, arts, and global influence, but it's also a major driver of the state's population loss. Residents face some of the highest living costs in the nation, with steep property taxes, elevated income taxes up to 8.82%, and high everyday expenses from groceries to gasoline. It's not just the finances. New Yorkers grapple with density, traffic, and infrastructure stress. Many families find the combination of housing costs and lifestyle pressures unsustainable, prompting moves to neighboring states like New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or upstate areas. Even those who cherish New York's culture and history find themselves packing for more affordable, slower-paced lives elsewhere. A local Redditor summed it up bluntly: "You can love the skyline, but it will eat your paycheck alive." That tension between opportunity and cost is driving an exodus that continues year after year. High taxes and the constant cost of living squeeze make it hard for residents to feel financially secure, even with good incomes. Picture this: morning light reflects off Manhattan skyscrapers, the streets buzzing with taxis, coffee vendors, and hurried commuters. It's vibrant, exciting, alive, but at what cost? Each block represents thousands of dollars in rent or property taxes, and behind the glamour, people are quietly planning their escape to more financially sustainable states. New York's allure remains undeniable, yet for many the numbers no longer add up, and the journey out of the Empire State is well underway.